Today's video is on language acquisition and language development in children. I've made it in response to the many emails from parents, especially settled abroad, who have children with delayed speech and language development, and your preschool or your daycare center has asked you to get an assessment done or go in for therapy and so on, and you're very anxious about the whole process. So let's understand some basic rules. This is going to be a two-part video. In the first one, I'm talking about basic language acquisition and its requirements. In the second part, I'll talk about second language acquisition. Now, the first thing that we need to understand, language development is an innate process, meaning that any child who's born has the natural ability to pick up and process sounds and convert it into language over a period of time. For this, there are three basic requirements. The first is secure bonding, the second is exposure, and the third is experience. Secure bonding does not mean that you spend 24 hours with your child, but that you are a responsive caregiver, meaning that you understand that this time when my child is crying, it's for the feed. This cry is for play. This is because she is in pain, and so on. A parent who is responsive usually helps the child feel secure. In the absence of this, for example, if you've been the kind of parent who has given the child a nursery rhyme or a tab every time he or she cried, they don't understand how needs can all be met by a screen, and this throws the entire secure bonding out the window, and it starts creating different attachment patterns which impact language acquisition over a period of time. And therefore, in language acquisition, secure bonding starts with responsive, attuned parenting. The second requirement is exposure. Now, I learned Hindi in school, but I never had the opportunity to speak or practice it. It's only when I went to study in Delhi that I could hear people speaking in the language with the right pronunciation, and I was able to pick up the language when I started counseling during my internship. Now, this kind of exposure, even for an adult, is something that's natural, because language needs to be processed by certain centers of the brain that can make meaning. So when a child has not been exposed to sufficient language and different people speaking it, it becomes even more difficult for them to acquire language. The third is experience. Now you need to understand that experience helps the brain, the neurons in the brain, to differentiate things and to discriminate between sounds and make meaning. Let me give you an example. While I'm recording, you can hear probably traffic noise, a dog barking at a distance, a bird on the tree outside, and so on. Now, when a baby gets these experiences, what they initially do is they just pick up these sounds. The brain has not yet made sense of what these sounds are. They slowly start understanding that these are sounds that are associated with language, these are sounds from my environment, and these are noises that I don't need to pay attention to. This is where we need to understand the difference between a phoneme, a morpheme, and a sentence. Phonemes are sounds that make up a language. In the 6,500 odd languages that there are on the earth, there are about 150 phonemes, and no language uses all 150 phonemes. In each language that we speak, there are a set of phonemes which may not be present in another language. Each language has a unique set of phonemes, and only through exposure and experience, children start differentiating sounds or the phonemes and start acquiring them. Once children are able to differentiate phonemes from sounds in the environment, then they move into morphemes. In this stage, they start understanding word boundaries, that these two sounds make this word and this word ends with this. This meaningful word becomes a morpheme. Word boundaries are a very important stage in this, and then this moves into sentence formation. Initially, they will just be two-word sentences, a noun and a verb together, like when they want water or something like that, they just call out for the person and mention what they want, or they ask for something, and so on. And most Indian languages are very easy, because the noun and the verb beautifully sit together, and then slowly children start building sentences. How do they build sentences? They build sentences based on our response. So when they communicate something and you are able to respond effectively, children understand that that is the form of communication or the mode of communication to use. What I'd like for us to understand now is, how does language develop over a period of time? At birth, children understand, or rather register, rhythm and basic pitch and tone that somebody is speaking loudly, speaking softly and so on, but they've still not made sense of it. Around 4 to 6 months, what happens is children start differentiating between this is human voice, this is the sound of the vessel that fell in the kitchen, or this is a clap. This is when, when you clap and all that, you'll notice that they're laughing with a lot of excitement and all that, because they understand there is a secure bonding element in it, and they're being exposed to sound, and it also probably has a human interaction. Now, the next step is around 8 months, where they begin to use words, begin to understand words as well, and around 12 months they understand actual meaning and the order in which certain words need to be put together. They start mimicking new words at this point as well. 18 months is usually my favorite stage. This is the time where they take anything. This is the throw down phase officially, where they will pick up any object and keep throwing it down, because they want to see what sounds are created by the object, and they start registering sounds and discriminating sounds. So the per and the ber difference comes when they start doing this. We are foolish if we give them a tab at that time, because they'll throw that also down, because they need objects that can be thrown, that can make noise, so that they develop this ability for auditory discrimination, or the ability to differentiate sounds. Around 2 years, most children are able to use nouns and verbs, and they understand order of words, and at 3 years and above that, they start focusing specifically on building vocabulary and grammatical rules. Now, this is the overview of language development, but I need you to know that we as parents sometimes destroy this whole process by one, giving gadgets, destroying secure bonding, reducing exposure and experience. No instructional video, no app can develop language the way human interaction can. So please do not give up on human interaction. Make time to communicate with your child, and that's the most important step. Don't expect them to express as soon as you expose a word to them. Now, for example, you keep saying, only if you say water, I'll give you a glass of water, children will stop speaking, because initially they need to register the sounds, they need to make meaning of it, and then they need to know how to mechanically use it, or rather use the muscles to produce that sound to be able to ask for it. It's a very complex process, and it takes that much time. So please be very gentle with language development. Exposure is a very gentle, secure process. Girls will speak faster than boys. They will be more articulate earlier than boys, and this is quite normal. Girls usually are able to speak clearly by 5.5. Boys need little support till 7.5 years. And the best way to work through language acquisition is modeling correct speech. As you continue to speak clearly and continue to speak correctly, children pick up that, register those sounds, and they start communicating effectively. Don't spend a lot of time sitting and correcting children, instructing them to speak well. As you keep modeling, since it's an innate process, the child's brain, the nervous system picks up this. If your child already has a speech delay, has been operated for a tongue tie, or has other challenges, definitely go in for an assessment. Sometimes you may require an occupational therapy assessment, sometimes with a speech therapist, and sometimes a psychological assessment. Once the assessment is done and your child starts off therapy, please understand that the therapist can only do so much in an hour or 40 minutes. Most of the work will be done by you at home. Make sure that there is secure bonding. Make sure that your exposure and the kind of experiences that you give your child are much richer than what you were doing earlier. In all my videos, I keep telling you not to use gadgets, and in language acquisition, please understand, whenever you give a screen, the visual aspect is more overwhelming for the brain, for the nervous system, and therefore the auditory aspect is always less with children who use gadgets. You will notice that many children don't even respond to their name, but they will respond to dialogues from a cartoon series. This is exactly what happens when we give the wrong kind of exposure to the brain. So please understand that removing gadgets and building relationships will be a very, very important step forward. Of course, peer interaction and play with other children is very, very important as well. In the second part of this video, I will be speaking very specifically on receptive and expressive language and on how children acquire the second language. Please do tune in to that as well.